Alright, good morning everybody. This is Josh. I'm doing a quick check-in here with Input Mapper. Some of you might have been following in the forums. I just started uploading a couple of the alpha builds of Input Mapper 2, and I wanted to go ahead and give you a quick video and kind of like a demonstration before I get shut down over here. We got some pretty bad storms rolling in, so I don't have too much longer before I have to shut everything down here. So let's see. I am going to, I'm assuming most of you got it to run. I haven't seen anything in the forums yet where people were saying they could not get it to run. So assuming you got that running and everything, if you're building plugins, I have not had a chance to create the settings system yet. I was almost finished with it and I wanted to scrap it because it wasn't turning out the way I liked, so I'm starting fresh on that. But in the interim, if you are developing a plugin and you want to, just for your own development purposes, have access to some sort of a settings screen and you want to manage your own settings for now, I'm going to walk you through what you can do for that. Since plugins, both application and device, have access to the global menus of Input Mapper now, both the sidebar and the top menu, you can actually create a menu entry that runs, launch this up real quick. You can create a menu entry that either goes up here or on the side, and a couple of these things, the mappings and the input monitor, these are actually plugins. They're not part of the program, and that's how those are, creating their menu entries. So what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to use the Scarlet Crush 360 controller as an example. And I'm going to open up the class for that. And let's see. I'm going to add a Windows form. This application is built in Windows Pro Forms WPF, but Windows Forms is just a little bit less dependency required, so I'm going to go ahead and use that as an example. And we're just going to put a little Hello World label in here. Alright, save that. We're going to go back to our plugins initializer. I'm assuming that if you're watching this, you're already aware with how the plugins work, and you've written a couple already, or waiting on this to come out before you do that. Let's see, so this is our actual plugin initializer here, so we're going to go ahead and add our menu options in here. First we need to include the Input Mapper namespace, because that's the actual application and that's where the menu items are being stored. So back in here, and the class type is going to be application menu item, and this is a standardized type that applies to both the top menu and the side menu, and it contains fields such as the actual menu text, sub-menu items, icons, stuff like that. So it was standardizing it inside this class type means that it's going to be platform independent, since we're not using an actual Windows type, which means we can use this and put it on Linux and it would maintain the same menu structure. So that's why we're doing it this way. I'm going to call this settings menu. I don't know what I'm thinking here. We don't need new there. We need new over here. I must be thinking about the wrong programming language. There we go. So, text. Yeah, sorry if I'm breezing through a lot of this. Like I said, I'm trying to get this video done and uploaded before I gotta get out of here for the storms. Let's see. Now we're going to use, I'm going to use an anonymous function to load that window instead of actually binding a separate method. Doing that from memory. Hopefully I did that right. Yep. Okay. Alright, now let's see. No, no, of course not. Alright, now that creates the menu item. No icons, nothing fancy. It's just the text and the sorry, I'm not going off a script here either, so I'm having a brain fart. And the anonymous function here that'll launch the window. So now all we need to do is add that to the actual menu bar. So that's in our global, and we're going to add it to the main menu. And we're going to go ahead and send that class that we created. Now, this should all work. Didn't have a chance to, really test any of this stuff out before shooting this video, so we'll go ahead and see. Oh, yeah, there we go. 360 settings. Click that, and there's our window. So that'll get you, some UI control over your devices or plugins that you're writing. You're responsible right now for storing and creating the UI for the settings themselves, but in the future, all you're going to have to do is register the setting, the type of setting it is, and I'm going to create the UI and input mapper that's going to handle everything. It's going to store it within the input mapper settings store and handle the generation of the UI of how the user interacts with that setting. So that'll make things easier in the future, but for now this will get you something to work with. And let's see, we'll just go ahead and go through a couple of the other things I uploaded this morning. I uploaded the HID input devices for the mouse and the keyboard. The DualShock 4 not yet, because of some changes I made to the framework. I'm having to go back and rewrite a couple things in that, but this was relatively easy, so we're going to go ahead and say edit mapping, keyboard, and we'll give this a test, see if this works. Let's see, I'm gonna do my WASD to a 360 controller's D-pad. Or actually, I'll do arrows. Those are probably a little easier since they're next to each other here. D-pad up. So that's left. Alright, now once you do that, these will actually already be working as soon as you go ahead and click that. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up my X input test from previous version of Input Mapper. It's not included in this one, so you'll have to get it separately. And I'm hitting my WASD, and you can see there that it's showing up. You see the D-pad responding accordingly. So the only thing you got here now is you have to use my slap together profile system here to save your mappings once you do that. We'll go ahead and save that to the desktop. Alright, and this is the file. Go ahead and edit that with Notepad. And you can see the way that it's storing is nothing too fancy. As a matter of fact, this will probably change some. This is just a listed text file, no nice formatting, no XML or anything like that. It's just kind of hackish just to get it done. So that'll save that, you know, so next time you close this, you go ahead and launch it again. You're going to lose those mappings. It won't automatically remap it with launch, so you're going to have to go in here for now. This is, like I said, this is all for now, just to get people something to work with. You go ahead, you load it, and there you go. Now it's back again. You can see the D-pad jumping around there. The other thing, if you go here to your edit mapping, go back to keyboard, and go to my up, down, left, right, you see these buttons went blank. So anything you do in here, don't expect it to load back up again next time you come in here. You know, I'll get that stuff sorted out. That's all just, you know, UI stuff that doesn't really matter as far as development goes for now. So, see, device, this sort of works, but it's feeding off the old forum system. So none of this is updated. I haven't had a chance to get around to fixing that because it's not really hugely important yet. You can go in here and enable and disable plugins. Go ahead and disable the mouse input. Go to devices, you see the mouse disappears. So that works. Other than that, I mean, what you see is what you get here. There's not too much going on. So if you have any issues, questions, you can try to hit me up in the forum. I'll try to be around today as much as possible, depending on when I can get on the network. All right, guys, have a good one.